We've got a really big challenge this week. Got a ton of respect for Trent Dilfer. I've known him a long time. He's a winner. He's a Super Bowl champion. I think he's a renowned quarterback coach. I think he's a tremendous offensive mind. You got an NFL son and a son of an NFL quarterback playing quarterback. He's got great, I think, command, sense of what it takes to play that position. They're really big up front. They got tremendous skill position players on offense. They're really big on defense. Athletic as can be at linebacker in the secondary, run very, very well. And I think they've got the most dynamic punt returner in the game. So going on the road and playing a team of this caliber, this type of athleticism that's coming off of a really dominant win where they put up 59 points is, it's just a heck of a challenge for this team. And, we had a good practice today. Our guys are in a good headspace. Getting back to business after a good win on Friday night. It was nice to be able to give them one extra day to recover, and they came out with a good sense of purpose today. But we know the challenge that we face in this team. We recognize by watching the film how skilled they are. Having known Trent as long as I have and known the great competitor he is, I know it's going to be a heck of a challenge for us. So, got to go try to get one on the road, and that's something that we've struggled with, and so we've got to find a way to go get one on the road.
What makes Shank so good? Is it speed? Is he getting blocking, or how's he busting all that?
Well, I would say number one, he's fearless, and he has great confidence in himself. He has amazing short area quickness. He is elusive in the open field. I think that means he's got great vision and great instincts. They block very, very well for him because they know that he can take it the distance anytime he touches it. And then he's got long speed. So you combine all of those things, just that I think he's got, what I like to call athletic arrogance. He has tremendous confidence in his athleticism. And just he's got a swagger to him. And he's scary, He had one that was called back last week where they say he stepped out of bounds, but it didn't diminish what he looked like running with the football. And and guys like that, they can change the ball. They can change the game in a heartbeat.
I hear some T.J. Sheffield in that description. You said that same thing about T.J.
Yeah. TJ's a hell of a punt returner. This guy's averaging 25.6, I think. I think that's the number. I know it's something like that, the return. So. As great as I think TJ is, this guy's stats are better. So he's dynamic as they come. He's as dynamic as we've seen. He reminds me as a returner of like Zay Flowers, who's doing pretty well in the NFL as a receiver. We're talking about the returner now. As a receiver, he's just the same. I mean, you give him the ball in space, and there's no difference between being a punt returner and being a receiver with the ball in his hands in space. So we have to know where he is all the time. We have to do a great job in our punt coverage. We have to make sure that we have great leverage. We can't try to cheat on a block. We just got to be very disciplined and tackle.
Kitten has thrown for 800 yards in the last 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
What is the dynamic that he brings to the game?
I think a couple things. I think number one, he's very intelligent and he has great football awareness. He's spent his whole life around this game. He has the ability to extend plays with his feet, and he does a really good job when he extends plays of keeping his eyes down the field. And sometimes quarterbacks at this level will take their eyes off the downfield when they start to scramble and look for maybe escape lanes. He does a really good job of keeping his eyes up the field and making throws late in the down that are effective. There was a play, I'm going to say it was against UAB, not UAB, I'm sorry, against UCF, where he was falling out of bounds, and it looked like he was just going to, kind of concede the play and go on to the next one, and he darts it in there up the field. So he's got tremendous vision, and he also has that athletic arrogance, that swag to him. That really stands out about these guys. Is they're a confident bunch, and they should be because they're very athletic. I just think that, we talked about it yesterday, and then you let it go, and you just fall into your routine. you know, so the only thing that's different for us is that we have a 2.5-hour flight. Other than that, the timing of what we do leading up to the game in that last 24 to 36 hours or really the last 48 hours is exactly the same. So, you know, it's like I told them, in the fields is 120 yards long and 53 and whatever 9 inches wide, and the numbers are where they are on every field. And you know, we have to be able to focus on our execution between the lines and not worry about where we're playing or what time we're playing or what the surface is or any of those things. Just go out and execute, and you know, have a kind of a road warrior mentality. You know, it's us against everybody in the stadium and everybody that doubts us. So.
UAB is only allowing 156 yards passing per game, but is that just because they're giving up so much in the run game? I mean, they're giving up 235 or something like that per game, or are they doing something good against the pass?
I think that all those stats could indicate something, and sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. I think what it indicates in this case is they've got a very good secondary. I mean, a very good secondary, so they're not giving up big plays. I think it indicates that, unfortunately for them, they've had to play from behind in a few games, you know, so other teams are maybe more apt to run the football than put it in the air against them and try to, you know, use clock, not make a mistake on offense that can, you know, let their opponent back in the game. So I think it's more a function of that. You know, when you look at them on film, which is the most important thing for us to do, is, yeah, you look at the statistics, but the film is what tells the story, is you've got a big physical offensive line, you've got very athletic linebackers, and you've got a good secondary, and they play good defense. So the stats to me are, you know, just like pass stats. Like you'll see teams that give up, you know, you say, oh, they're ranked in the bottom half of the country in passing yards allowed, but they've, you know, won 9 games. Well, they've been way ahead, and everyone's having to pass every down to try to get in it. You know, they're going to get yards that way. So to us, it's just, let's look at the film and let's see who they are off of the film. And what I see is a talented team.
I know you don't like to look at little milestones along the way, but this seems big to UConn fans. You can have the first winning season in 14 years if you get a win. Is that something that's some marker you can at least look at and be proud of?
If we can find a way to get a win, yeah. So I just think it's really dangerous to focus on that. I think the most important thing we can do is the work and focus on how we can be our very best that day at practice, in that moment that we're practicing a certain play or a certain defense or a certain part of the kicking game. You know, I just feel like that's the most important way for us to have a chance to get that 7th win, is to focus on how do we just be great today and get this one win. Now, if, you know, at some point this season, if we're able to get a 7th win and have a winning record, then, you know, then we'll talk about it briefly, and then we'll go on to the next one, you know. So for us, just staying in the present, to me, has proven to be the best thing for this football team right now.
How have you seen the players been able to do that after obviously clinching eligibility last week, but obviously players move on and not focus?
Because that's what we do. It's how we talk. It's what we reinforce. It's what they're made of. It's what we've done every single day. So it's about consistency. You know, regardless if you win or lose, there's a script that you stick to. You know, there's a plan that you stick to. There's a routine that you stick to through the week. There's certain things that you focus on every single week, and you just don't deviate from those things. So regardless if it's a tough loss or it's a win that, you know, makes you bowl eligible, which doesn't mean bowl bound, you just stick to your routine, you know, the things that have gotten you to that point thus far. And for us, that's, you know, just doing the work, man, whether it's in the meeting room, the weight room, whether it's out on the practice field, whether it's at home, getting extra study, whether it's coming in, you know, after hours and meeting with your coaches. It's doing the work. It's never taking any of the details for granted. It's paying attention to every little thing that can help us win. And then it's just having the mindset of this moment that I'm living in right now is the most important moment for me. And to try to do that with all 110 guys, every single moment, every single day, then you give yourself a chance.
I know we talked last year about the qualities that made a good road team. It's kind of interesting to follow Joe's a little bit. Like, you did a lot of good things lot of ways, don't you have kind of a different team now that it's been 6, 7 weeks, or what can you expect, or what do you expect?
Yeah, I think teams evolve. Like you said, it's all, you know, every week your team's a little bit different. You hope they're evolving in a positive way, and I believe that we are. I think that, you know, these last few weeks have taught us how to win close games, you know, and win them in different styles. And I think that builds some confidence, and I think it builds mental toughness. And so if that's just more ingrained in the DNA of your team, when you go into a hostile environment or you have to get on a plane and go on the road, it's just another thing that we just are going to deal with, not have to deal with. We're going to just deal with it, you know, and that's the mindset that we have to take.
Obviously, every week you have different adjustments that you're making, different game plan and coaching points that you're focused on. But your routine, how much does that sort of stay the same? And how long do you sort of have that routine?
You have to tweak it based upon kickoff time, but you start at kickoff time and you work back and you create a routine. I think it's especially important in the last 48 hours that you stay dead on to your routine as much as you possibly can. I just think that's the best way to be mentally prepared and physically prepared, and guys know exactly where they are in terms of their recovery, in terms of their mental preparation. To me, it's critical. I've always felt that way. You know, I've always been, I mean, I've been around routine-oriented people, you know. I mean, you talk to a guy like Bill Walsh, unfortunately we can't anymore, may he rest in peace, and it was everything. You know, this is how, they talk about the 49er way. We always used to talk about the 49er way. People call it the West Coast offense. It was more the 49er way. This is the way we do things. I mean, you know, every meal, every pregame meal, every night before the game, you could walk down the serving line and it's the exact same foods, prepared the exact same way at the exact same time. The tables are set up the exact same way. People sit on the bus the same way. It's just, you know, some people might think it's psychotic. To us, it's being mentally prepared and physically prepared and emotionally prepared, and that comes from routine, you know, eliminating uncertainty. Oh, yeah. I mean, I took it from the 49ers to the Falcons. From, you know, then I went to Seattle, and Mike Holmgren was a disciple of Bill Walsh, so it was very much the same. Learned a lot from Mike. Kept doing it with Mike, then took it to UCLA, and, you know, brought it here. I mean, it's just, to me, and you're tweaking it all the time. You know, you don't just, I'm not living in, you know, 1998 or something like that. You tweak it, but just creating a routine that your players can depend on, I think, is really critical.
Jim, what about for your routine? Like you, home games, I see you always running the stadium. On the road, do you tweak your routine at all for you?
No. I've been running the stadium stairs for 40 years. I started that in 1984 in San Diego. And I would say I've missed maybe in 40 years 5 or 6 times. I've run every stadium in this country, basically. I will tell you that there's nothing quite as hard as Lambeau Field. Lambeau's gotten me. Lambeau's gotten me.
What is the routine at Rep?
Well, it's the routine now. See, it's like everything. The routine has, as I've gotten a little bit older and a little more brittle, the routine has changed. The routine used to be 4 laps, starting with the same song right when I came out of the tunnel, running the same direction. Then it was 16 110s. Those have been gone for about 10 years. I'm afraid of tearing Achilles. And then I run the stadium stairs. And, you know, I do that. I've been doing that forever. And it gets a little nostalgic for me now when I run the stairs, because my great friend Greg Knapp, who has since, you know, he got hit by a car and killed a few years ago, he's the quarterback coach of the Jets. We worked together for, we worked together forever and rode together every day. That's what we did together for probably 15 years before every game. So, you know, it also gives me a chance to think about Napper when I'm running those stairs.
Why is Lambeau hard? Steeper steps?
Oh my gosh, because it starts kind of like this, and then it immediately gets steep, and the steps are about, you know, 12 inches, all right? And some, like, you can go to the rent, right? And there's a lower deck and an upper deck. So I can go, I'm just gonna run the lower deck. But at Lambeau, it's just one, right? So you get to the top of that and you're dying. It's hard, really hard.
Is that routine all about just clearing your mind?
Yeah, it's just, you know, I just like to, it just helps me get in the space where I need to be emotionally to be able to be at my best for the players. All right. Let's keep it about the players, not about my routine. Okay? Nobody cares about that. See you guys.